Game up here. My name is Robert. I'm an addict. First off, I want to thank the God of my understanding for that bottom I hit. You know, I hit a bottom to get honest and open-minded and willing to change. But it took me a long ass time to get to that bottom. Real quick, I got a half hour from right now, right? So I'm gonna keep track. All right, cool. And I got somebody in the back. All right. So, like growing up, I grew up in Alumni, and I was raised by my mom. She was an old-fashioned mom, you know, from Mexico, Ensenada, and she spoke all Spanish. And then I had a dad who spoke English, you know. And then I thought it was my dad, but I found out later on that it was my stepdad. She told me like when she was pregnant, and she was gonna have we're gonna have a little. I was gonna have a little sister, and then she told me, hey, you know, you're gonna have a little sister, but that's not your dad. And that shit fucked me up. You know what I mean? I don't know why, man, but it just, I mean, it fucked me up. When I would go to school, I would look at this man. I'll see other two kids with their dads, and they would look like their dads, and I didn't look like my fucking dad. You know what I mean? So I started looking at the differences. You know what I mean? And yeah, but he was a good man. He fucking used to go to work and he took care of the family. He took care of me. You know what I mean? And he showed me some good morals. He was a veteran, and I'm really thankful that he was in my life. You know, but I was kind of resentful. My mom's like, man, you know, like why you lie to me? You know, why don't you tell me the truth? You know what I mean? But I didn't say that. But those were feelings that I felt inside that I stuffed. You know, I held that shit in. And everything was good. I remember I was addicted to video games. I would be fucking playing video games, and I would it was me, Chacho, Klepto, and Pistachio, right? We would be like playing video games, and Klepto had to live up to his name, so he'll go to his mom's purse and steal fucking quarters. You know what I mean? Then I would do the same thing, and then so we would play video games fucking forever. It was Pac-Man, Defender, and Astros back in the 80s. I've been crazy since the 80s, right? And I remember we weren't even getting high, and we went and did our first crime together. Pistachio, fucking borrowed his uncle's hearse van. It was a hearse van. And then it was an old school hearse van, and we took off on it. You know, and we went to this animal feeding place, and it was over there off of Michael Hunt. I don't know if it's still there in Almani. And we stole dog food. We made a little line, you know, and I got on this side of the fence because I wasn't good at jumping fences. The other homies were over there, and we passed the bags, and we loaded up the vans, you know, the van, and then we took off, or the hearse van. And we took off and we sold that shit, and we got like about $8 a bag. And then we split up the money, and then we went to McDonald's, and then we went to play video games. We were like fucking, and we got high. I remember like they say that the disease is in us, you know, before the drugs come, you know, and it really was. Like I was addicted to the video games. I remember playing that shit, getting blisters on my hands, and life was good, you know what I mean? And until my mom's got sick, she got cancer, she had a breast removed, and it traveled to her spine. And she was gonna die, you know what I mean? And my stepdad didn't want her dying at the hospital, so he got a hospital bed in the living room, you know, and then I would go to school, you know, and then I start ditching school, you know, because inside I was hurting, man. I was fucking go to school and put that mask on like it was all good, but I was fucking crying my mom's, you know what I mean? And she was a beautiful flower. Her name's Rosa, and I watched her wilt away, man. That shit hurted, man. I didn't know how to deal with that shit, and I started stealing alcohol, which is a drug for me because I work these steps right here. You know, if you're sober and you're here, that's good. Hopefully you stay around till you can say you're clean, you know what I mean? Because that's what it took for me, you know. I mean, I realized that if I drink, I'm gonna go right back to doing the old shit that I used to do. But when I was a kid, I stole my dad's alcohol and I went to Pedro school and it was all dark and I drank that shit and I wasn't hurting no more. I wasn't feeling the loss that I was gonna lose my mom's. I wasn't tripping no more. There was some older homies down the street and they were smoking PCP, you know, and I smoked some PCP and I remember I walked home and you know and I walked in the door and my mom seen me and she was in pain. You know, I'll hear her like moaning and groaning at night. Like I'll hear her in pain, and I couldn't deal with that shit. So I used to get high. That was my way out. And then I started going to school and all that stuff. So I walked in there, fucking moonwalking on some frios, right? I smoked some cucuy juice, and my mom seen me, and she started crying. You know what I mean? And I started crying. I always remember that shit, man. Like I fucking heard my mom. You know what I mean? When she was dying. You know, and we would have ditching parties down the street, and I would be right there all the time. We'd do runners and all that shit. So I started hanging around with the wrong crowd. You know, my stepdad, you know, he was mourning the loss of his wife. You know, my mother, because she had passed away. You know, so he would sit me down, you know, and he'll fucking he wouldn't put hands on me, but he'll tell me, man, you're nothing but a loser. You know what I mean? If your mom seen what you were doing right now, she'll turn over in your grave. You know, man, you're the reason she got sick and died. You know what I mean? And that shit fucking. I wanted to fight him or take flight, but he would have kicked my ass. You know what I mean? He's a war veteran, but he was drinking. You know, he was drinking because he had lost his wife. You know, and that pain that I had inside and that love I wasn't getting at home, I got it out there in the calles, in the streets. I got jumped into the hood. I started running around. I started going in and out of jail. First, it was county jail, you know, and then every time I went in there, I had a bright ass idea, you know. Okay, I'm not gonna sell dope. I'm gonna sell stolen cars, you know. And back in the day, we'll do number jobs. So I started doing that shit, and I got caught. You know, I go back in. I got a girlfriend, and she became my wife, and I had a little boy, two little boys, and I was basically not there though. You know, I was going in and out, in and out. You know, and every time, you know, I was a sucker for my own bright ass ideas. You know, and I I remember coming out, you know, and all the little kids were fucking growing up, you know, they're on their bikes and shit, and they're fucking didn't have no dads and shit. This Robert, he was right there, he was running around, my little homie, and he was running around, and I would see these guys like, fuck, man, you know what I mean? They're just fucking off the hook, you know what I mean? Stealing and doing crazy shit, like new and improved, you know what I mean? Like way worse than I was, you know. It's like, damn, these was are fucking doing some crimes already, and man, I was a bad example. You know, I was slanging dope. You know, I was telling them, hey, don't fucking steal right here. Don't shit in your own backyard. Go somewhere else. Go fucking go rob the chinos. You know, or somewhere. Go over there. You know, and yeah. So I went in and out a bunch of times. You know, and every time I had a bright ass idea, and that shit never worked. You know, I'll get like 3 years and 5 years. You know, and the last one I got 8 years. You know, and man, I had tried everything, you know. I was a bad actor, you know what I mean? I was like a bad actor in a low budget ass movie and shit, right? Like those kind of old ass kung fu movies where the fucking kick would come and the hi-ya would come afterwards, right? And the disease just kept kicking my ass over and over again, and I fucking volunteered for that shit. I brought this paper up because I was holding out, you know what I mean? The cucuy juice. I might fucking stand right here and fucking forget my whatever the fuck I want to talk about. Anyways, I so that bottom I was talking about, I hit that bottom, you know, and I had lost everything, you know. My wife didn't want nothing to do with me. I got a letter. I was in prison. I was about to get out, and my older son Robert, he said he wrote me a letter, and I was all happy to see it, you know. And I stayed back, you know, and my son went to chow, and I read the letter, and it said, "Dad, I love you, but I don't want to see you." And man, that shit hurted, man, and I cried, you know. And then when my Sally came back, I had the mask on, like it was all good, you know what I mean? But it really wasn't, you know. I was hurting down deep inside, man, and my wife had become my ex-wife while I was in there, right? They say Sancho took over, right? They say the disease is progressive. Well, this time that motherfucker was wearing my clothes and shit, right? True story, man. And I wasn't even like trying. I would never be talking about this shit, right? But now, I'm able to. I'm free. I'm not even tripping, man. So I got out, and when it came to I got on the plane and they took me to LAX, and then Fred Brown's picked me up. They had a driver, he picked me up and he brought me right here, to 14th Street. And I was like, everything was brand new. I was fucking when you share right now. Thank you for sharing. You remind me when I first came. I didn't do as much time, but man, I got the same fucking bad fucking experience, And I'm grateful. Thank you for sharing, man. And I remember coming right here, and I didn't have shit. I had a thermal, and back then we used to get packages in prison from the calles. So I had a thermal, and we had a tag. I had a tag. I took it off something else and I sold it on, so I looked like kind of legit, right? I had some walking horse Nikes, and all white, right? And then I had some shorts. They were cargo shorts, and they were made out of sheets, brand new sheets. And PIA, they made me some brand new cargo shorts. So that's how I came to Fred Brown's, with nothing. I had lost everything, but I was rich and lost, Nancy. Thank you for inviting me, Nancy. Thank you for having me on. So I had lost everything, right? And I wanted to change. I seen the guys, they were ironing their clothes, they were getting ready. And I was like, man, where are you guys going? They said, we're going to a meeting. And I was like, all right, cool. And they go, yeah, there's like fucking 75 people. It's a big ass meeting. And about 50 of them are women. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, let's go. You know what I mean? They sign me up. So somebody gave me a pair of pants. A brother, a black dude, gave me a shirt. And I had fucking some clothes, And back then, I don't know how they do it now, but we used to walk in a group down center over there by the park. There was a meeting right there, a big ass meeting. The Andersons, yeah. So we were walking over there, and as we were walking over there, the disease was on me, like, cause Pedro's fucking nice, man. You can smell the ocean and shit, right? I could feel the breeze, when I come over here and I take it all in. It's like, man, and but this is where the ghetto meets the sea, man. You know what I mean? They were smoking shit down the street, man. The stores right there. Like, man, I want to go get one real quick, Something to make me feel normal, because I felt kind of weird. You feel kind of weird coming out, like really weird, right? Like, cause my normal, I gotta get high to feel normal. And when we got to the meeting, I didn't go to the store. We got to the meeting. When we walked in there, something remarkable happened, man. Addicts who had used were sitting in there clean, They were longshoremen. There was a doctor in there. True story, there was a lawyer, man. It was crazy. There was counselors, man. Motherfuckers with missing teeth were smiling and shit, right? They had been to the spots. That I had been to, and they were here clean. You know what I mean? So, man, I went to another meeting and I heard the stories, and then I sat down, and a square ass dude sat next to me, and he was gonna I was gonna move away because he looked like a square, total opposite, right? He had hair and Oakley shorts and some flip flops. He looked like a square. I'm gonna get away. He looks kind of white dude, and I'm like, man, I'm straight. And I stayed though. I sat there, and when he shared, he told my story, man. He had lost everything, lost his kids. He went to prison in and out, and he read my mail, man. So I got at him after the meeting, and I told him, hey, man, you look like a square, but you told my story, man. And he looked at me and he told me, man, keep coming back. You'd be surprised what Narcotics Anonymous will do for you. And that shit gives me chills right now, because I was ready. Like when they say, like when the student is ready, the teacher appeared. That motherfucker appeared. Man, I was ready. I get chills in my head thinking about that shit. And I told him where I was at on 14th Street. And he goes, yeah, I know where that's at. And he gave me a card. And I go, man, this motherfucker gave me a card and shit. He ain't gonna come, right? Because the disease always told me, like, nobody cares, nobody loves you. Like when my mom was passing away and my stepdad was talking shit to me, like nobody cared, nobody loved me, right? Only the streets, right? So I'm over here fucking thinking the worst. He goes, I'll be over in a couple weeks, So we had a real busy day. I don't know how you guys have it today. We had group and meetings and fucking all kinds of shit. And at 12 we had lunch, and then we had a meditation meeting. There was an old school Vicky. I don't know if you guys know her. And let me drink some water real quick. Time out. Now I'm a speaker. I drank the water. So anyways, we had a meditation meeting, right? So I sat down, and Vicky's like, just relax, you know what I mean, and don't think of nothing, right? And I'm just sitting down, you know. Man, my mind's going, man. My fucking funding's gonna get out. I need an extension. I'm thinking of all kinds of shit, right? And the guy, I'm thinking, I'm gonna go get Sancho's ass when I get out of here, right? I'm gonna go do something to that motherfucker. I'm thinking of some fucking quail foul shit, right? You know how the mind is. And the guy next to me started snoring and shit. And I was like, man, you know what I mean? True story, in the garage. We were in the garage on 14th Street. And I looked, and through the window, I seen the square walk by for me. He came to pick me up on a sponsor pass. And just for that day, I had faith in someone who believed in me in Narcotics Anonymous and wanted to help me in my recovery, right? Like the reading started coming alive, you know what I mean? We started going to his pad, you know, going on sponsor passes, and I started working the steps, you know, and he'll tell me, look, go to meetings. He'll suggest, he didn't tell me, he said, go to meetings, talk to your sponsor, work the steps, and be of service. Live the Narcotics Anonymous program, you know what I mean? So that's what I started doing. He said we had never seen someone relapse who is living the Narcotics Anonymous program, you know. And I started doing my steps, you know. I started working my steps, and my life slowly began to change. I would go over there to Alumni. I'll jump on the bus all the way over there, and I'll go over there and see try to see my sons, you know. And my mother-in-law will fucking she'll open the door and see me and slam that door, you know. But she enjoyed that shit. Like I could see, she didn't just slam it, she just slammed it, like really enjoyed it. I'd be like, man. And I'll take that bus and come back all the way back to Pedro. There were times I would get a 12-hour pass. I don't know if you guys get 12-hour passes, but
No.
I got the 12-hour pass, and I walked down the street, Fidencio, and then I made a right down 14th and went back through the alley, and I jumped the fence and went back to my bed because I didn't have nowhere to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had lost everything. There was nothing for me to do out there. And I already knew if I kept going, I'm gonna go do some stupid ass shit, right? So, yeah, man, I had lost everything, but in that loss, you know, I wanted to do something about it. So I started working my steps, you know, and working my program, man, and my life began to change. You know, I continued going to my mother-in-law's pad, you know, and one time my ex-wife opened the door, and then she goes, yeah, come see your sons, you know, hey, your dad's here. And I started talking to my sons, you know, and then little by little, you know, I got a job, you know, and I started going to school. I got my GED, then I got my Class A, my truck driving license, then I got my fucking crane license, you know, and I started working in the oil field, and then my life just started fucking flourishing. It was crazy, you know. My sponsor, I continued working my steps with my sponsor. We would go to his house, and I went to his house today, as a matter of fact. But I would go over there, and then we had other sponsee brothers there, and some of them just came to eat, big dog. They just came to make a mess, you know what I mean? They'll go in there, and I'll be protecting my sponsor, like, man. Then these fools are over here making a mess, and I'll tell, hey, Tony, his name's Tony. Man, these fools are just fucking. They just came to eat, man. They ain't serious. And he tell me, man, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Don't trip. And one time he told me, man, I was telling him again, man, this fool's full of shit. And then he goes, hey, Robert, shut up. You know what I mean? And I was like, whoa, you know, nobody ever told me shut up. But he told me straight out, shut up, man, don't worry about it. And I seen him sitting there, and he had like a gleam in his eye. Like he wasn't tripping. He was just smiling right there. And he was just happy that we were there. You know what I mean? And I didn't get it, you know. And I was working in the refineries, the oil refineries, and I was working like 7 12s. You know, I had a job right here as a staff member, and I became a sober living manager on 19th Street, and I was just I was working and doing both, and then finally I just went on my own. I got a house, not a house. I got a house in the back. I rented a house in the back up here in Pedro, and I would go to work, and I didn't. I was living with this lady in the back of her fucking pad, and I didn't want to wash my clothes, my jumpsuits, the refinery suits. I don't know if you guys seen them, but they're like big old jumpsuits, and I would take them to the laundromat. You know what I mean? And then by that time I had sponsees and shit, right? And then I remember like I went over there, and I was waiting for Justin, and Justin, I didn't see Justin Scar. He's a white boy, and what happened? Fucking he's a white boy, and he tells me, "Hey, I'm right here in the back, Rob." And I go, "Man, I've been right here in the front." So he comes in. We start washing. I start washing my clothes, and he comes in. He goes, "Hey, I gotta go, bro." And I go, "I love it, yeah, no problem." And I see the lady that's cleaning, the laundry lady that's cleaning and housekeeping the place, right? She's like looking at me like I'm gonna steal something, you know, or whatever. And then the black dude comes in, you know, another sponsee, man. He goes, "Hey, what's up, Rob?" And then bam, we get into step one. We're working step one, and then Eddie, the Mexican, comes, right? So we're true story. So we're all working the steps, and man, and when we're working, I'm in the steps like I'm on the bomb one. You know what I mean? Like I used to be on a sick one out there in the streets, but now I'm on the bomb one, right? Like my life has purpose and meaning today, right? So I was in it, and we're working the steps, and then the lady comes. Oh no, they left, and then the lady comes and she goes, "Ah, you're a teacher."
That's right.
Yeah.
The student became the teacher, right? I started giving back, you know what I mean? My life became, my life began to mean something, you know, in people's lives, you know. I see them do stuff, you know. I see them grow in their recovery, like Fidenzo's one of my sponsors. I see him coming along, he got a job, I see him being the daddy. That shit brings joy to mine. Because I remember when I was like that, you know. I got in the union, I started going on vacations. Instead of getting fucking the judge telling me, "Motherfucker, you're back here again, you're going away on vacation again, motherfucker," you know. No, now I was going on my own, you know, going on vacations. I got married. Uh, oh, before I got married, I went to a meeting. My sponsor was going to share, and he goes, "You're my 10-minute speaker, cool?" And I go, "Yeah, let's go." He goes, "Man, I'm nervous. Take 20 minutes. All right, don't trip. I got you." So I go and I share, and then he shared, and then this girl came up to me, a newcomer. You know, she had like 2 weeks and shit, and I had 2 years. You know what I mean? And the ladies in NA, the ones that have been around for a while, they're looking at me like, "Man, you fucking scandalous, right?" And I got into a relationship with her, you know, and I would work over here in Pedro, and she lived in Orange, and she was going to college, you know, and I'll be going back and forth, and she got pregnant, you know what I mean, and then she was gonna be due, and I was over here, and all her friends are telling her, "Hey man, like, why is he over there, and you're over here pregnant?" And I was just saving up money, you know what I mean? And I told her, "Go get an apartment. We're gonna, you know, I'll move over there." Just so that's what we did. We got an apartment, and she was pregnant, and then she hatched, you know. And we went to the we went to the hospital, right? And then motherfuckers from the meeting were right there. It's crazy, man. You guys were there, man, and you know, I got to, my sponsor was there, my sponsor brothers are sponsees, and man, and it was a trip, man, and I named him Tony after my sponsor, you know, his little Tony, man, and I would, I remember my wife was real tired, you know, and she goes, "You guys just go ahead, you know, I'm gonna go to sleep," and you know, the baby was born, and we were at the hospital. So she goes, "Yeah, just go home." So I took my sponsor and my sponsors to my apartment, to our apartment, right? And I went right there, and we were kicking back, you know what I mean? They're eating and shit, you know, they're making a mess, you know what I mean? And I was the one sitting on the recliner, not with the gleam in my eye, right? Like I wasn't tripping, you know, I understood, man. Like I was just happy that they were around me, man. So I have a gift, you know, I've been given a gift, you know, and I gotta take care of this gift, you know, to this day, you know, I got a commitment. I'm a cake guy at the men's stag meeting in Monterey Park. I go all over, you know, I ain't tripping, you know. I've been to Hawaii, I've been zip lining, man. I've been on helicopter cruises. I got proof, man. I'm gonna pass these around if you don't mind. But I got 5 minutes, cool. So yeah, I remember fucking we went swimming in Hawaii, big dog. I had a snorkel. They gave me a fucking snorkel thing, and then there's a manta ray. They say we're gonna go swimming with the manta rays. They're like stingrays, some big ass fucking things. But like the stingrays, you know that crocodile Dundee dude that got stung by them. So I'm asking, hey, they got stingers? They go, no, they ain't got no stingers. Don't trip. They're manta rays. They ain't got no stinger. All right, cool. And I got my son Tony with me and my wife, and we jump in there and it's dark, man. And then they turn on this blue light, and then a bunch of little fishes start coming. You know, little like they're like moths. You know, like if you turn on the light on the front porch, the moths come out, right? So they turn on the lights in the ocean, and there's plankton come up. You know, I didn't know none of they're telling me what's going on. So then this fucking big old mantas, what do they call it? Manta rays. They started swimming around us. It was crazy. And I had my GoPro and shit. I jumped in the water, man. I started sucking up water. And then I was like trying to fix it, looking for my son, man. And then the tour guy goes, hey, sir, are you okay? Right? And I got water in my goggles. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, right? And I said, yeah, I'm cool, I'm cool, right? They go, yeah, just relax and hold on right here, right? So I'm holding on. They said, relax, man. And then here come those fucking big ass fucking manta rays, man. They're like big old motherfuckers. They're just coming, their mouths open. And I just had to surrender, big dog. I just surrendered, man. I was floating like Superman, man. I was tripping, man. And then the next day we went swimming. The water was clear like a pool. It was crazy, man. So it was like I was swimming, and there was fishes right there. It was like I found Nemo and shit, right? Like that fucking the colored fish and shit, right? And then we went to a meeting, and there was a meeting, and it was called a floating meditation meeting, right? And we went. It was an NA meeting, and then we went, and they had floaties, and I'm kicking back, and they said close your eyes and meditate, and I was chilling, man. And my mind was at peace, and I wasn't thinking of nothing. You know what I mean? And then it started raining. That shit was crazy, man. And my face was all wet, but it wasn't wet just because of the water. It was wet because I was crying, big dog. Like I was, man. I learned how to meditate right around here. And I bought a house. You know, I'm gonna tell you about the gifts. You know, I bought a house, a home. The newcomer, she's got 14 years, and I got 16 years now, clean. And I say this not to brag about what I'm doing. I'm bragging about what the Narcotics Anonymous program has done in my life. It's giving me a life that's worth living. You know, it's crazy, man. Cholos fucking snorkel too. You know what I mean? I went zip lining. I did all kinds of crazy shit I never thought I would do, man. It's crazy. It's amazing, man. I'm on vacation from work. I became an operating engineer. I got I do these tower crane. You know, we build up these skyscrapers, and I see the sun come up. It's crazy, man. And I climb up there, man, and it's amazing. You know what I mean? That shit, those machines cost like $2 million, and they trust an addict like me, you know, up there, man. It's crazy. It's amazing how this shit works, man. I'm up there swinging around. I know how to deal with people because I used to be the chair right here. It's called the chair, or no, the leader of the pack. So I used to be the chair, and right here I learned like how to deal with difficult people, right? And I was one of the difficult people, right? So now when I'm at work and I'm with difficult people, I know how to be cool, you know what I mean, and not let my past, you know, come into my present and fuck shit up, you know what I mean? Because I want to reach back like a pimp and stop the hole, but I can't do that shit, you know what I mean? I'll go to prison. I ain't trying to go back. So I start practicing my recovery, and my life has been pretty good, man. I do pretty fair for a score today, you know. So out of the darkness into the light, right? Fred Browns. I'm grateful, man. So when I get into the light, right, we get out of the darkness, right, out of the alleys and out of the prison, we get out into the light. What are you gonna do now? You're gonna chill in the light? Just chill? I want to bask in the sunlight. You know what I mean? Bask. You know, I heard that word and I was thinking about it, man. And I looked it up. Cause I'll make my own meaning, you know what I mean? So I put, before we used to pull out the dictionaries, now we pull out the smartphones. So bask, to revel and to make the most of something pleasing that makes you feel good. My recovery makes me feel good, big dog. Like, man, I'm great. Like, when I go out there, man, I'm bask like my little dogs. I went from pit bulls. You see my pit bull to little Frenchie. I got a little Frenchie now. Right? And when I'm walking the dog, I don't feel like no punk or nothing. You know, I ain't tripping, man. I'm free. You know what I mean? And I see them lay in the sun and they're basking in the sunlight of the recovery, right? Like, you know, I don't know. I just started looking at shit like that. I'll tell you about the cats. So I'm working in the refinery a bunch of hours. I'm going home and I'm in my car, my little hoopty and shit, and I get to the stoplight and I seen a white cat. And that motherfucker ran right by me and it was a white cat, but it was dirty as fuck. And when it jumped on the fence, it looked back and I swear it made eye contact with me. And that motherfucker, man, I was like, man, that was me on a good one. You know what I mean? So I'm driving, I'm going over this bridge, coming back to Pedro. I'm probably pointing the wrong way. And I get back to the spot where I live at, where the lady's house, and I live in the back. You know what I mean? And so I go back there, and she has a black cat. And this cat its coat is shiny. It's kind of fat. You know what I mean? And it's not even scared of nothing. You know. And it comes up to me, and it starts rubbing itself on me. And I open the door to my pad, and that fucker comes in, you know, and I hate cats. I used to not like cats, you know, I don't have a problem with them now. For you cat lovers and shit over there, this is a cat lover. So I went inside and the cat, true story, the cat comes inside and lays down on the carpet, right? And you know how we are when we get out of prison, we're like, everything's gotta be clean, you know what I mean? And this was when I was staying right here in Pedro. So the cat lays down and I pick it up and I gently guide it out the door, you know, and that's what I got to do right here in my recovery. I got to surrender to a higher power, you know what I mean? And the more I surrender, the better I do. It's crazy. It's amazing, man. If the disease used to tell me that I'm an addict, once an addict, always an addict. Like your family thought, like once an addict, always an addict. I ain't never gonna change, you know. But I'm here to tell you that when the drugs go away and the addict works the program, wonderful things happen, man. Wonderful. It's crazy. It's amazing, man. It's amazing the shit I get to do. And I gotta stay humble or I'm gonna crumble, you know. I need to come to these meetings. I got 2 more minutes, so what you said. So man, I've been my son's graduations. You know, I wrote some shit down. I got to teach my son how to drive. The one that didn't want nothing to do with me, I taught him how to drive. Rob, I took one. I have a few cars. I took my little car, my little hoopty, man. That motherfucker went up the curb and shit. I'm trying not to yell at him, like, "Hey, no, don't do this. Don't fucking fuck on my rims, right, or whatever." But I taught him how to drive, you know, and I got to be there. I bought him a car, you know, Sancho. I ain't tripping on Sancho, man. We're cool. My mother-in-law, we went, they were going camping. And I go, hey, y'all. They go, hey, you want to go camping? I go, yeah, I'll go camping. I never been camping. They go, yeah, don't trip. His mother-in-law's like, yeah, just come. Don't trip. Don't just bring a sleeping bag. Don't trip. Don't worry about no sleeping tent. Don't worry about nothing, right? So I go up there to the mountains, and it's like a church thing, right? I'm not promoting church, right? But because but anyways, I know there's a God. God's working in my life, right? So I go over there, and she goes, okay, I'm gonna sleep with the boys. My mother-in-law goes, I'm gonna sleep with the boys right here, but you're gonna sleep over there in the tent with fucking Louis, and that's Sancho. You know what I mean? So I slept in the tent, and Sancho was right there. That motherfucker didn't sleep. I remember I went to get up, take a leak. That fool had one eye open and shit. Man. And man, I wasn't tripping, man. My sponsor told me, man, he's like he took over payments and shit, right? You know what I mean? I'm blessed, man. I'm really grateful to what this program has given me, man. Oh, One promise, many gifts, many gifts. That's crazy. The Narcotics Anonymous gives you one promise, that an addict, any addict, can stop using drugs and find a new way to live, right? The other program, they give you, I'm not dishing it, they give you a bunch of promises. I just needed one promise, because if you promise me all this other stuff and I don't get it, I'm gonna be pissed off. But so find your program when you get out of here. Get your sponsor, man. Start living the steps. Get a commitment, man, and you'll be surprised what the program will do for you. Thanks for letting me share.